Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ravneet and today I am gonna be sharing all of the pans that I've hit in my collection. But before we get into that, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel because I make a lot of panning videos and I mostly pan eyeshadows. I have a lot of products to share with you guys that have pan in them. Without wasting any more time, let's just get straight into this. So I'm gonna start off with my face products. This is in no particular order. I'm just like grabbing wherever I see near me. So the very first product that I'm sharing with you guys is my Franken blush. It's in my project pan and that is the pan. Oh, it was like this part that was moving and making noise. Anyway, so this is in my project pan to finish and the pan has increased tremendously. The next two products I have pan on are also my Franken products, and one of them is face powder, the other one is bronzer. Both of them are again in my project pan to finish. This is how these products look like. Huge pans. Again, these are Franken products, so these are not as full as any new product would be. So these are a bit easier to hit pan, but nonetheless there is pan. And now the last face product is this e.l.f. duo, and I have pan in highlighter. This is again in my project pan to finish, and the highlighter pan in here has grown so much. This is not a Franken product. This is the original product as it came with the packaging, and I'm really glad that I have a humongous pan on this one. And believe it or not, those are all the face products that I had to hit pan and the rest of them are all eyeshadows. So I'm just gonna start with the smallest palette, or maybe the palette that looks small so that it's easier for me to like get through them. So the first palette, or I'd say quad, is this Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells, and I hit pan on this Bro Bone shade right here. And I hit pan on this one in my pan Those Eyeshadows. The next palette is my Essence Bronzed This Way. So it's a 6-pan palette and I have pan in 5 eyeshadows and I finished one. And all of the pans are really huge as well. That is that. This palette has been in various projects and I hit different pans in some projects and some of them I hit organically. The next 6-pan palette with pans is again from Essence. It's their Top It Up, and I have pan in 4 of these eyeshadows. So this was in my project Level Up palette and it was for level 4. And I hit all 4 pans in that project. And the next palette I have is this from Rare Beauty. This one is called True to Myself, and I hit pan on one of this eyeshadow in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project this year. So this is how the pan looks like. It is a more concentrated dip because I was using it in my eyebrows in combination with another gray eyeshadow that I will be showing you next. That's my next palette with the pan. And the gray eyeshadow I was talking about previously comes from this My Glam palette with Manish Malhotra as a collab, and that's the gray eyeshadow. These eyeshadows don't have any names, so yep, that's what that eyeshadow looks like. Again, I was mixing this gray eyeshadow and the other one in my Rare Beauty palette and I was using them in my eyebrows. Oh, I forgot to mention the shade name in the Rare Beauty palette. The shade with the pan is called Loyal. And while we are at the shade names, I'm also going to mention the shades that I've hit pan on in my Essence Top It Up palette. So I have pan on Saturday Night, which is this middle one. And then I have pan on Hands Up High, Groove On, and Party's Jumping, which are the 3 eyeshadows respectively on the bottom. And the next palette I have 2 pans on is my ColourPop Star Wars Mandalorian The Child palette. This is my beloved palette, I really like it. And I have pan on 2 eyeshadows in here, and I hit these pans I believe last year, yes. And the first pan is in this Precious Cargo shade. It's very reflective, but yeah, there's the pan. And then the next pan is in my Baby Face palette, not the Baby Face palette, but in Baby Face eyeshadow in this palette. And sticking with my 9 pan palettes. I have 2 more pans in my BH Cosmetics Sub-Zero palette. So I have pans in bottom, 2 eyeshadows in here, and surprisingly enough, both of them were in my pan Those Eyeshadows. So we have huge dips and pans on this one. And these 2 eyeshadows are called Stone Cold and Chill Factor respectively. And the next 9 pan palette that I have 3 pans on is my Do Not Disturb palette from BH Cosmetics. I just find its packaging a bit weird because it opens this way and it has Do Not Disturb embossing the other way around. So that's that. But this palette was in my pan Those Eyeshadows and in my project Level Up for level 2. So I hit pan on this shade called Don't Bother in my pan Those Eyeshadows, and then I hit these 2 pans in my project Level Up. So this one is called Getting Lost. That's how that one looks like. And then this is called Off the Grid. We have huge pan on this eyeshadow as well. And then I have 1 pan on my Subculture palette. So this was in my pan Those Eyeshadows, and I have hit pan on this shade called All Star. That's how that one looks like. And I am working on this shade called New Wave to hit pan. Again, this shade is in my pan Those Eyeshadows for this month's rotation. And I have 2 pans in my ABH and Jackie Aina palette. So both of these eyeshadows were in my pan Those Eyeshadows, and I hit pan on both of them. So the first eyeshadow with pan is this one called Zam. It is very reflective shade, so the pan is not that visible. Pan is also very tiny. And the next pan is in the shade called Shookington, which is that purple shade. There we go. After turning the light off, we are somewhat seeing Zam pan. It's rhyming. Anyway, that is my next palette with pans. And my last ABH palette also has a lot of pans in that. Not a lot maybe, but 3. So this is my Norvina palette, and it loves to be in pan Those Eyeshadows project, and that's how I hit all of these 3 pans. And I'm working on this eyeshadow called Dreamer to get the pan. So here we go. Pans are looking a bit better now. So that's that. And then I have this palette from BH Cosmetics. It's Lost in Los Angeles. This is also my level 5 palette in my project Level Up, in which I have to use all eyeshadows at least 5 times each and hit 5 pans, which is a lot because it has a lot of eyeshadows. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So yeah, it has 16 eyeshadows in total. And I have 1 pan on this one, but it doesn't come from project Level Up. It comes from my pan Those Eyeshadows project. And that's how I hit pan on City of Angels, which is the last eyeshadow in here. So most probably I'll get more pans on shimmers in this palette because my pan that palette is all matte, and I am reaching for shimmers elsewhere for my looks. So yeah, this palette is going to stay for a while in my project Level Up, no doubt, but it's a nice companion palette. I really like it. Earlier I said that I'll be showing my palettes in no particular order, but I lied, I guess, because I am going from like least number of pans in a palette to like the most pans in palette. Not like actual pans, but eyeshadow pans. I hope that makes sense. But the next eyeshadow palette I'm showing you has 18 eyeshadows in it, and it's my Revolution X Demi palette. And I have oh my god, baby, you scared the shit out of me. Okay. So I have a lot of pans in this eyeshadow palette. So this was also my level 3 palette, and I finished 1 eyeshadow in this one long time ago. And I have pans in like most of the shades except for like 3 eyeshadows. This is also a palette that I have frankened a lot in the past, but I have finished everything frankened with this palette besides a blush that I showed you earlier that I'm working on in my project pan to finish. So that's where we are at with this palette. I can tell you like the names of all the eyeshadows that I pan on, but I only don't have pan on 3 eyeshadows. I think which I can tell you which eyeshadows I don't have pan on. So I don't have pan on Mas, I don't have pan on Bechanel, I think that's how it's pronounced, and I don't have pan on Jab Jab. And we are nearing the end, so I'm gonna show you the last palette that I have pan on. So this is my Morphe 350 Supernatural Glow palette. This was a gift to me, and I had pan on one of its eyeshadow in my Those Eyeshadows, which is called Magical. It's right here. That's the pan that I got in my Those Eyeshadows. And these 2 eyeshadows are in my face powder that I frankened. So as this one, these pans are not organic. I have just scraped the eyeshadow from here to like use in my franken products. And that's everything I had for this video. I am anticipating to get more pans on my palettes because I want to make them look well loved, and I also want to show more love to my palettes. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end. I hope you have a wonderful day or night depending on when you're watching my video. I will see you in my next one. Until then, take care. Bye.